All right, today we're going to talk about something that's quietly running the show in basically every relationship you'll ever have, and you might not even know it's there. It's called your love style. So let's get into the 5 types and see what they're all about.
So let's just jump right in with a pretty big question, right? Have you ever wondered why you act the way you do when it comes to love? Why you're drawn to certain people? Well, it turns out the answer might be a lot closer to home than you think.
You see, according to some really insightful counselors, we each have a specific love style. And here's the kicker, it's not something you're born with, it's something you learn, and it gets wired in way back in your very first home.
So what exactly is a love style? Well, you can think of it like your personal love blueprint. It's this predictable pattern, almost like a default setting for how you connect with people as an adult. And it's all based on what you experienced growing up.
So in this explainer, we're going to walk through the 5 big ones they've identified. We've got the pleaser, the victim, the controller, the vacillator, and the avoider. As we go through them, just kind of keep an open mind and see if any of these sound, well, familiar.
Okay, first up, the pleaser. Now, the name pretty much gives it away, but what's really fascinating is the why behind it.
The pleaser style often starts in a childhood home where a parent was maybe a little critical, or anxious, or just really demanding. So to get by, these kids learn to be super good, right? They try to be perfect, stay quiet, and do anything to avoid making waves and just earn a little bit of peace. And this right here, this is the thought that's running on a loop in the back of a pleaser's mind. It's this deep-seated belief that love isn't just given freely, it's conditional. It's something you have to earn by being good enough. Now, what's really interesting is how a similar childhood can actually create 2 totally different love styles. So let's look at a pair that comes from chaos, the victim and the controller.
So both of these styles often grow out of a chaotic or unprotected childhood, but their ways of coping, they're polar opposites. The victim learns to just survive the chaos by becoming really passive. And as an adult, they might even find themselves recreating that chaos because it feels familiar. Then you have the controller. They experience that same powerlessness and basically say, never again. So their response is to take charge of everything, their environment, their relationships, because for them, control equals safety.
Okay, on to our next pair. And these two are really on opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to emotional connection. I like to call them the hot and cold duo, the vacillator and the avoider.
So, the vacillator. Their love style is really born from inconsistency. Just imagine having a parent who is amazing one minute, super engaged and loving, but then totally distant or distracted the next. That kind of unpredictability creates this intense longing for a perfect, consistent connection that they never quite got.
And you can see how this plays out in their adult relationships. When things are good, they're amazing. The vacillator dives in head first, thinking they finally found the one, this idealized love they've always dreamed of. But here's the thing, nobody's perfect. So when that inevitable first disappointment happens, it feels like a massive betrayal. And just like that, they swing from idealizing their partner to devaluing them. It's this emotional whiplash, this push-pull dynamic that can be so intense for everyone involved.
Now, on the complete other side of that, you have the avoider. This style usually comes from a home that wasn't very affectionate, maybe emotions weren't really talked about. So as kids, they learn a really powerful lesson. Don't rely on other people for comfort or emotional support. You have to handle it yourself.
And as adults, what does that look like? Well, they value their independence more than anything. They tend to get really uncomfortable with big emotional talks, and they're masters at keeping people at a safe distance. Does that sound familiar at all?
So, we've talked about all 5 of them. Let's kind of pull it all together now and turn the spotlight back on you for a second. Let's think about your own personal blueprint.
So here they are, all lined up. You've got the pleaser from a critical home, the victim from a chaotic one, the controller who felt unprotected, the vacillator with that unpredictable parent, and the avoider from a home that was less affectionate.
Now, looking at that list, does one of them just kind of jump out at you? It's totally normal to see a piece of yourself in a few of them, but usually there's one that feels like it's your main operating system. And listen, I need to make this super clear. The whole point of this isn't to blame anyone. It's not about blaming your parents, and it's definitely not about blaming yourself. It's simply about understanding. It's like finally getting the user's manual to your own heart. Because here's the thing, knowing your blueprint, that's just step 1. The real magic, the real power comes from the next question. What are you going to build with it? How can you use this knowledge to build healthier, happier relationships? Because now you can.